So Voss has got he's got at least a good 12 inches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say
At
that.
least.
At least 12 inches. Baba Voss, he's carrying around 8 inches.
Yeah.
So what I really, really need to do, because I've really been wondering, is I really need Jude to measure me. Okay.
To see where you compare.
Jude, can you measure me?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, here, can you come over here? It's like, hold on, I gotta think. Oh, no, I'm sorry. what do I got here? I'm sorry. I gotta stretch it out.
Are you going from the chin to the end of the hair?
Yeah, stretch it.
From where are we at?
It's about 5 inches.
5 inches.
He's a good 5 inches.
5 inches. So,
I wonder what Tamacti Jun's rolling around
I
with.
don't know.
Well, Vader, you know they say size doesn't matter.
Well,
Yes, it does.
I think it absolutely does matter.
Who is this they you speak of?
I'm all of a sudden very self-conscious.
You're rocking a Kofun beard. Weak.
It's not. How dare you?
Weak.
Your beard game is weak, son.
It's longer than yours.
Yeah.
Go back to your pie and queen with that weak beard.
Queen Kane gave no shits about Kofun today. All right.
No, she never did.
She just was like,
That was only a surprise to you, Alex.
my innocence is lost. All right. The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of chet.
Chet.
So get ready, nerds, because we're talking C, Season 2, Episode 8, Rockabye, the season finale. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast. Remember what we said last week about how we were going to skip a week before the season finale? Bullcrap. Don't worry about it. We are back. We are going to be talking about the season finale because we just can't help ourselves. We have to talk about this show. I am joined by my fantastic panel of nerds. MattVader 74 is here. Welcome, sir.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're a day early.
We are a day early.
I know, man.
We're doing a special recording before you leave.
I know. I'm leaving tomorrow, so I was like, I couldn't hold this in for a week.
I know, me neither.
We all juggled our family lives in order to be here to record this today.
We even got Kurt Russell Terrier in the building.
Yeah, he's here. Our pod pup.
So if you do hear some
The puppy's here.
yeah, it's okay.
He's being a good boy so far.
Jude is also here.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Nice shirt you got.
Good morning. Oh, thank you. Check
SaltyNerdStore.com. Grab your Chet shirt. It's a couple shirt. There's one that says Chet, and then there's another one that says Chet. Go buy them. Matt Kadish is here. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me. And in celebration of the season finale and how badass Baba Voss is, today we are all rocking the
Bottle of Voss.
The namesake of
the
our main character. So I don't know if everyone knows this, but this is the thing that Baba Voss was named after.
Yep. This is what we speculated in season 1.
We'll do a cheers to the Voss brothers before the end of the show today.
There you go. All right, everybody. This is going to be spoiler heavy for the season finale. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back, check this video out. Before we get into it, we're going to take a quick break, listen to some sponsors. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. If you love what we do here and you want even more of it, go to saltynerdclub.com. That is where you are going to get our most raw, unfiltered selves, where we don't have to worry about the tech overlords taking our content down because we swear too much or whatever. We say a lot of funny stuff, and we want you guys to check it out. Go to saltynerdclub.com. You get exclusive access to 4 podcasts every single month, as well as Discord access where we hang out with our club members over there. We have a ton of fun. It's a great community. And if you guys are into our content, and you like what we do, and you want to support us, that's where it's going to happen.
Yeah, our foundation talks in the members-only area are quite fascinating.
It's a college education.
Man. I can't go in that far. It's super nerdy, dude.
It's real heavy.
It's not just like normal nerds. These are the now we're going to talk about foundation nerds. Whoa.
There's like Venn diagrams and graphs of the show, and it's intense.
It's Kadish level breakdowns.
Yes. It's like, I hate all of you. It's hardcore nerding.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but man,
it's out of my.
I actually get quite some interesting theories from that talk, because we got people in there hardcore theory crafting about foundation and what's going on, and it's so cool because it's another great Apple TV show. Just like C.
I love you guys. I have not once looked in that chat. And you know why.
I read through it and then I'm like, wow, I'm really out of my realm here.
If you tag me in something, I'll look at it.
All right, guys. If you want to support this,
I love passionate fans. I really do.
SaltyNerdClub.com. That's where the action happens. All right, let's get into this. Matthew Kadish, take it away.
Okay, so it's finally here, guys. The end. Finale. Episode 8 of season 2, entitled Rockabye, named after the song that Queen Kane sings in the episode.
Don't spoil it!
Too late. All right, so we pick up where the previous episode ended, with Payan soldiers running back into the Greenhill Gap fort as arrows rain down upon them. But don't worry, no one important dies just yet. Once Team Baba is safely inside the fort, Ito orders the battalion to advance. Tamacti Jun tries to rally his troops, but Kofun immediately undermines him by pointing out that they don't have enough soldiers. Thanks for pointing out the obvious, Kofun. Baba tries to get Hanawa and Kofun to ride back to Pensa to warn Magra, but they're both like, nah, we're good. So some blind guy is forced to ride back instead.
It was going to be a lot slower.
Yeah.
Some blind guy who can probably actually fight is going to ride back, and Kofun staying for the war.
Well,
and they spend all that time establishing how fast Kofun is on a horse. So it's just like, nah, he's not going to do anything.
Yeah. Like, the one thing you can do that's good, we need you for it. He's like, I can't leave you. Bro.
all of a sudden, Kofun can fight now, and it's ridiculous.
Is it? We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah,
But first off, I just wanted to comment. Like, we joked last episode, we're like, oh, the arrows in the air. Tamacti Jun and these like highly sensitive people who can hear things are probably like, they know what's coming and they're going to get out of the way. No,
that didn't happen.
No, that didn't happen. They just got totally screwed over by these freaking arrows that are coming out of the air. I was kind of like surprised at that. I thought they would have had a better defense, but they just ran into the gate.
Yeah, like shields,
something.
I actually think that the Payans probably didn't know about the blind archers, because that was something that Ito specifically like did on his own.
Yeah.
And so like the crossbowmen and the long bow archers, I guess.
Being directed by the sighted kid.
Archery is not something that blind people typically do. And so that was something that was unique to the Travantian army, I think. And so they weren't expecting it, which is one of the reasons why it caught them kind of off guard. But Hanawa should have been telling them, like, look, guys, there's a bunch of archers over there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Run.
Arrows. Yeah, you can run and yell arrows at the same time.
They're going to be like, arrows? What the fuck's an arrow? All right, what happens next?
All right, so the Travantians reach the gate and start using a battering ram to try to break in. Why Rin can't just lead them around the fort so they can attack from behind is anyone's guess, but whatever. This is the sea.
God, I love you. Thank you so much. I have so many fucking issues with this battle. It's just
I actually think, like, if you look at like the long shot of the fort, they have like this mountain ridge that kind of like goes around it. So like it's not an easy thing, but it's like if she can see, she can lead them around the fort and go straight to Pensa. They don't need to take that fort that's like fortified and has all these traps and stuff in
That's how chicken shits fight.
Exactly. I think that was Ito's. Yeah, I think that was Ito's mentality.
Let's
on
fight
this.
like men.
His ego got in the way, and he's
Yeah.
like, take the fucking fort!
Yeah, that door down.
Yeah, that's not for a bit now.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so luckily Paris arrives with all the hidden tribes to help reinforce Team Baba. Bow Lion is back with all of her friends to help Tamacti Jun and his Witchfinder army, because even though Tamacti killed and tormented all these tribes and Bow Lion declared her former tribe mates traitors, they're all here to help because reasons. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll get an explanation as to why the hidden tribes decided to put their lives on the line for the Witchfinders later in the episode.
I love you so much.
Spoiler, we don't. We don't ever find out why they decide to do this.
I was like, what are we speculated? Like, oh man, the
Ganites.
The Ganites were going to show up, and there was going to be a turn of the tides or something. Like
no.
Queen Kane's got this. No, it was
Just these.
so. This is what Paris has been doing.
Just these cave people from the mountain.
A
tribes.
mountain warrior is worth 10 Witchfinders. I was like, where,
If that's true, why were they all killed?
where are they coming from? Who? I mean, I guess this is what Paris has been doing this whole season, right? She goes,
guess.
sneaks off and talks to people.
I really thought that she was going to come back with the Compass people, which I think would have made more sense because
What are those?
the ladies of the Compass.
What?
There's only one left.
Is there just one? It's like we have this set up, but there's no payoff there. But I guess she's. I'm gonna move on because the spoiler stuff for later.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to finish my sentence.
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
I thought that she was going to come back with the ladies at the Compass because I felt like that would have made more sense because they're the ones that are supposed to be protecting the sighted, and that's what like the Payan Kingdom is supposedly fighting for. Is like they're not witches anymore.
Yeah.
Which I think would have made more sense than bringing the hidden tribes who still believe that they're all witches to come fight for the kingdom that doesn't believe that they're witches anymore.
Yeah.
Also, it would have been nice to have seen how Paris like minted fences with Bowlion and convinced these tribes who hate the witch finders and hate, Paya because of it, to actually like put their lives on the line to fight for them against the Travantes who never did anything to them.
The last time we saw Bowlion, she was telling them, "Get out of here and don't
Yeah,
ever
you're
come
a
back.
traitor.
You're a traitor." Yeah.
She was real pissed off at Baba Voss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she shows up at the end like, we're with Baba Voss.
She was sneaking up the beach to slit Tamacti Jun's throat.
Right?
Yeah, now she's fighting alongside him.
Yeah, it made no sense.
Like, it would have been interesting if during that battle she used her shadow skills to like assassinate Tamacti Jun, but we knew that they weren't going to do that.
No.
Yeah. This whole scene would have made more sense if we didn't have to have the scene where she said, "Get out of here, you're a traitor."
Yeah.
Like 2 episodes prior, which I didn't feel like was necessary.
Or at least have a scene where like Paris convinces her that like, it's kind of like the lesser of two evils or something.
Yeah, something like that would have been better.
I think that is like
still
one of
enjoyed
my biggest complaints about this episode is it kind of relates to what Matt just said. We needed to see more.
Yeah.
We needed more setup for what we ended up getting, because honestly, I woke up, then I got home from work and I watched this at midnight, and I woke up. I literally woke up angry. I did. I haven't done that on a television show or even a movie in ages, probably since like Star Wars stuff, right? Just I was pissed. It's like, what did I just watch last night? None of this stuff made any sense to me.
There's very little setup for what happened.
There's none. There's no setup there from everything in this show. I want Matt to move ahead so I can talk about this battle first. So do that.
Yeah,
please.
let's go. We can vent later. But go ahead, Kadish.
I do want to point out that they made it a point to have every tribe say like, we stand with Baba Voss. So like, it wasn't about Tamacti Jun. It was about, siding with Baba Voss. But as I was watching that, I was like, well, there's only one tribe there who's met Baba Voss. Like, who are all these other tribes that are they're like, Baba who? Like why?
They heard of him.
Yeah. His reputation precedes him, I guess. I don't know. Everybody knows who Baba Voss is.
So Paris showed up with another 30 people.
There's 100.
100.
Well, whatever. I didn't see 100. I saw like 35. But whatever.
Well, they said over 100 soldiers to help even out the odds. So like they had initially like I think 200, something like that. That bumped them up to 300. The Travanti battalion was like 350, something like that. So it was a little bit more even.
It evens up the odds a little bit.
Big armies, man.
300 people, man. It's a lot for them.
I had bigger armies of that in high school.
well, considering there are only 2 million people left on the planet, I guess like the size of the army.
Maybe on the eastern seaguard.
Don't forget, we got those Altoona guys.
Oh yeah. The 25 from Altoona, they performed really well.
And the Trojans.
The guy, the Trojans, they'll be there.
And the Quebecers.
All right, continue on.
All right, so at Pensa, Magra visits her sister and wants to know whose baby she's carrying. And Sibith is like, duh, it's Kofun's. And Sibith points out to that Kofun wasn't her first choice to be the baby daddy. Yeah, whose first choice would that be? And everyone totally understands what she's talking about. So Magra starts choking her sister, but just like everyone who chokes the queen, she wusses out. Sibith points out that her child may be both Magra's nephew and grandchild, but Magra says that she's never going to let Sibith keep the baby and will take it from her as soon as it's born. And Sibith isn't happy about that threat, noting that this is not the first time she's been in chains.
I feel like this bitch should be dead.
Yeah.
Multiple times already. And that every time that they don't kill her, they're copping out. Because she should be dead.
She almost died.
Should have killed her already.
Tamacti Jun.
Tamacti Jun should have killed her already.
Paris should have kept her mouth shut.
Magra
should have killed her
right then and there.
Yeah.
It's like, what is it? Does she got a special force field around her?
She's got a baby in her, and she also has plot armor.
It's ridiculous. The plot armor is super strong.
She's got a gold laced neck that is impenetrable.
At this point, I love the character, but I'm just annoyed that they can't just kill her. Put her behind bars so these people can't kill her.
Considering the number of people who like start choking her, you'd think that she'd be dead by now.
That's my thing. I'm sick of people choking her and then deciding to not choke her anymore.
At the last minute. It should be a drinking game. Every time someone chokes Queen Kane, you take a shot.
I feel like they should I think it would be more interesting if they were taking other measures to try to assassinate her, and she was just wily enough to get out of it. That would be a more interesting way for her to survive.
Again, the Payan guards, guards that are outside of her door.
Worthless.
Worthless.
Oh, yeah.
They're literally standing right there. This is the second person who tried to kill
Listen,
her.
those guys just get paid to stand there. They're not going to do anything else.
Well, we also know that the choking is kind of like a false choice, like a la the Joker and the Dark Knight Returns, because we know that at any moment Sibeth can just like kill who's ever choking her if she wants. So it's all kind of like a psychological game where she knows that the person choking her isn't going to kill her, and if they are, like, she'll like dispatch them like real quick. So
yeah, if she ever, you think if she feels like she's actually in danger, she just goes.
She's a survivor.
More people know about her wrist shank
because they're blind.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they keep her in the Grand Master bedroom,
just tied to her bed.
Tied to her bed. She should be behind bars where people can't choke her. If they're gonna keep her alive,
release her.
Or release her, because she could just walk out of the fucking building, man.
If she gets her chains off, yeah.
I don't think that's a problem.
You think she's just biding her time?
I think she's there because it's the whole.
I think she's got another wrist shank that's a lockpick.
The whole way that they have her as a prisoner or a captive or whatever she is ludicrous. It's absolute. The way that anybody, even in the royal family, can just walk into her fucking bedroom and have a discussion with her, and pretend to choke her out is it's insane to me.
I want a spin-off.
I mean,
the palace guards are just like, ooh, this is better than daytime.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, I want a spin-off show of just like the palace guards home at night talking to their families, like, guess what the fuck happened?
It's like an episode of The Office set in
behind
Pensa.
the scenes. Yeah. Talking about it over dinner with your family.
Go ahead,
Guess who choked the queen today?
it just upsets me that they can't put her in a room with a locked door on it.
Something. But
she's
royalty.
I don't care.
She's got to be treated
she's
special
nothing right now. She's nothing.
Well, that's like
she has a baby in her. Well, so what?
So what?
So what?
Wow. It's a sighted baby from God.
Yeah, whatever.
It's
just the whole thing.
The prophecy is still in place.
I like Kofun wasn't my first choice, obviously.
He performed admirably.
These people have less respect for Kofun than we do. It's terrible. All right, what happens?
At least Queen Kane does for sure.
What happens
All right,
next?
so in another room, Harlan is being attended to by healers, and he looks surprisingly good for a guy who got stabbed in the gut the night before. Yeah. Harlan tells Magra that the men who attacked them were lowland assassins and that few people who meet them live to talk about it. Magra thanks Harlan for helping to save her, and then both are informed that the Battle of Greenhill Gap has begun.
I love this scene. I love how he's like, hey, I'm going to tell everybody that I fucking saved the day.
Yeah.
So you just go along with it because it's making me feel real good about myself. My gut hurts. Do this for me. And she's like, all right.
Yeah.
Well, you did take a poker to the gut for me.
I mean, he did save her.
Yeah, they've saved
each other. Yeah. But he's not going to be like, you didn't save her.
I mean, Magra would have been dead if it weren't for him.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
So we went from field arrows to they're smashing the doors down with the battering ram.
Mm-hmm.
With a ram's head at
the ram's head at the front. Because that's intimidating to people who can see.
It's the most efficient blind way to break down doors, okay?
To the blind guy running back to town to tell him, the battle started.
Like, it probably was over by the time he got there.
Yeah.
Because it was really far away.
And then they cut back to the battle, and then they cut. It's just.
You remember how it took them? Like, how long did it take them to get there? Like 2 days?
I don't know.
But that was only because there was a sighted person leading the way. It normally takes like 5 days to get there.
Well, that was from Cervantes.
What about from Payan? How far away was it?
I think Payan, it was a day's
journey?
A day's journey away.
Okay.
But there's a road leading right to it from Payan. So like if you follow the road, you can just get there really fast.
Is there an editing thing that I'm annoyed with? Is that why?
It's what happened in Game of Thrones when they sent Gendry from the freaking north down to go tell people in Winterfell. And he just
went through a magic portal.
Gendry, run! And then the next scene, it was like, hey, Gendry, what are you doing here?
I mean, at that point, I was like, oh, so they're going to get minute by minute recaps of the battle.
Well, they have
they've broken the inner wall.
They have a rotation of people who, instead of fighing, just run.
It's called relay.
It's a relay race.
At least Game of Thrones had crows.
well,
so you could at least like pretend that they fly past.
Well, we've established that Paris can teleport, so chances are other people can teleport in this world. So
Paris.
Yeah.
I know
Keep going.
What happens next?
All right. So back at Greenhill Gap, Baba Voss is giving his Independence Day speech, and it's pretty badass, and it gets everyone riled up. Mm-hmm. And Baba tells them to open the gates and welcome them to hell so the Dravantians can come in so that the Payans can start killing them. And thus, the battle begins.
So
you got a problem with this?
Yeah.
Why?
Really?
Yeah. Because you don't open the fucking gates for the enemy to come into your castle.
Yeah, but he's
I don't give a fuck. I don't. It's stupid.
Mountain warriors.
So you have Hawkeye go up to the top of the fucking wall, Hanoa, because she can't miss, and she can obviously fire 5 or 6 arrows at a time.
That's a new skill she learned.
Right. While flipping around and climbing up and down buildings and doing backflips at the same time. Right. Just go up there and knock off the kid that can see.
Well, they didn't know about him yet.
Go up, knock off Master Blaster, and then she could have taken out at least probably 20 or 30 people before they got those doors open.
Or Ito,
or anybody.
But then Ren would have been like, no.
The strategic bullshit in this battle is mind numbing to me.
Baba is just ready to fight.
I don't care.
I think he's just like, let's just get this over with.
It's stupid.
I'll tell you this. So like this episode, as much as I loved this episode, because I had a lot of fun watching this episode. The minute I turn my brain on, like this whole episode falls apart.
Yeah.
And it reminds me a lot of Jonathan Tropper's first show, Banshee, where in that show, every episode was filled with moments that were just so badass. Like you're just like, oh, that was awesome. Oh, that was awesome. But the minute you try to think about the episode as a whole, you're just kind of like,
this whole siege falls apart immediately.
The Payan side, I understood. They were just like, we're the odds are even now. We've got warriors. We've got people behind us. Let's just do the thing. We've got them in a freaking funnel. We can beat them. They're confident that we can beat them.
They didn't have to
wait all day long for them to be praying.
They cost themselves probably 40, 50 lives by doing that.
Maybe.
They also had a strategy.
What I was more upset with, was Ito. Ito has been. This whole season is like, he is a freaking master tactician. Yeah. He's the warrior general of the Travantes. And he just was like, go forward.
Yeah.
And regardless of what he was walking into.
The battle of the discarded tires is what I like to call it. Do you see all those tires there?
Dude, there's a couple things.
I chuckled at the tires.
The tires made me laugh. And also there's like a Prius, like still there. Like 500 years later, there's like a Prius skeleton of a car. And I'm just like,
that.
Oh, it's so silly.
Well, you know what was so funny is like, so Baba Voss is giving this really stirring speech. It was a good speech.
It was a good speech.
And I turned to Judah. I was like, do you think the Travanti Ayuras are just sitting out there like, oh man, that's a good speech.
Well, Ito could hear him. He was like, Baba. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think, I don't know, the only person who's allowed to do speeches anymore is going to be Jason Momoa because he's the only one who really sells it. Like his speech.
I thought Magra's speech was pretty good.
She was all right,
I like
but it wasn't freaking.
Speech was good.
It wasn't Baba Voss.
Man, I wanted to go out there and kick Notre Dame's ass after that was awesome.
Well, I think it's funny that they didn't bother to do the haka dance this time. Why shouldn't he have just been like?
Because remember what we said about that in the first season?
Yeah, but like keep it consistent.
No,
they didn't have time to practice it.
Yeah,
the hidden tribes just got there.
The Payans are not. That was an Alkini thing. That wasn't a Payan thing. That wasn't.
It would have been funny if all the mountain tribes started doing it, and the
Payans were like,
just like what's going on?
You know what? But I felt like there was a difference between that first fight in episode 1 and this one. Where in that one, I actually kind of liked it. I really dug that first fight on the wall.
But it was
badass, dude.
It was badass.
I'm like, whoa, there's some blind people do some superhuman blind shit where they're like hanging over the ledge and fucking.
They were doing that in this too.
Yeah, I know, but it didn't come off as good. It didn't come off the same. It's just.
See, I completely disagree.
I don't know
that first battle in the first episode. I thought was really dumb. And this one felt more tactical to me. It felt
I'm not saying it wasn't dumb. Okay, I'm saying it came off cooler. It just they were trying to set up some new.
I think you just like. I just think you like the mountain, like the mountain style instead of this street level stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So what happens next is a 15-minute long battle sequence, like 15 minutes of blind people fighting. I think it's the longest blind battle scene ever to be recorded on film. So
how many blind battle scenes have been recorded?
Probably not a lot.
Probably just this one. So call Guinness. This is the longest blind battle scene ever made.
Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah. So the Payans open the doors and Ito starts sending his men through. They immediately get killed by Baba Voss, Tamacti Jun, and Kofun. Who for once doesn't screw up killing and getting woozy at the sight of blood. Like when I saw Kofun just jump down and kill that guy, I was just like, oh, come on.
I was
like, I know he's been training, but still, it felt so wrong.
And also the way that he killed that guy, he had one hand on the handle of his blade and another hand on the actual blade. And these are the same blades that have been like tearing through like people's helmets and their armor, but like it didn't hurt Kofun's hand.
but that's a move Baba Voss has done before.
Yeah,
so he was basically just mimicking his dad.
Yeah, there's 3 different things that he did in this fight scene that were callbacks to what he was taught early on in the season.
Yeah.
It's a little funny seeing him kick ass. I'm not gonna lie.
A little?
A little funny. I was like,
it made me mad.
but at the same time, I was a little proud. I was like, finally.
I feel like they put in the work to say, we've been working on him, and now this is his time to like prove what he's learned. I didn't expect him to be good.
Well, he got saved like 5 times. Like twice by Toad alone.
Yeah.
There were several times where somebody was coming up behind him. It's really quick. It wasn't like they didn't make a point of like pointing it out. But if you're watching the battle, I watched this episode like 6 times. You watch the battle, like he almost gets killed like 6 times. And there's always somebody that comes in at the last minute and saves his ass.
Kofun said, Toad, don't stop saving me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows he needs to be saved.
Yeah.
But Vader, this made you angry?
It made me angry. He didn't deserve that payout.
Oh, man.
He's a fuck up. His character is a fuck up. He has no business being at the front of that army with Baba Voss or anybody else.
Yeah.
Especially to be one of the big reveals when they walk in the thing to go in there and get one of the badass kills from one of the fight.
Yeah, they were the first 3.
When they first walked through, he's like, no.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
Yeah, Baba Voss.
No. Should have Baba Voss,
Tamacti
Jun,
Bow Lion.
maybe Bow Lion, maybe Toad even.
Toad probably
maybe
better.
even, Hanawa, but she gets her moment.
Well,
but not him.
The thing is,
not Kofun.
The thing is that Kofun doesn't have the ninja skills that Tamacti Jun and Baba Voss have. So you'd think Bow Lion would be up there because she can move silently, whereas Kofun was just making noise left and right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bow Lion's weapon of choice was badass. She had like the Thanos like double bladed sword. You see that thing?
Even Bow Lion getting stuff done, and she was barely in this season.
Yeah,
she got like 3 minutes of screen time, and it's just like I think that's the problem I have with this whole entire episode is I feel like everything that they tried to pay off had very little setup. You just can't do all of these big stories in 8 episodes. I'm sorry, you can't. I have more to say on this later, but I feel like they were just trying to get too much crammed into too little time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you talk about all the time how you like those shows that do like 20 episodes.
Yeah, well, it's not even. They could have done. Like, just give me a little bit more setup for some of this stuff because a lot of it just didn't make sense to me.
There were
especially this fort fight that we got coming.
Yeah, there were like 3 or 4 episodes where it was just them hanging out at Pensa, like having like interpersonal relationship drama, where you could have had Paris going out and approaching like these other things, trying to mend fences with Bow Lion. You could have had that general, the black guy, I forget his name, but like going to the Greenhill Gap fort and establishing what it is and why it's strategically important and stuff like that. There could have been a lot of these little things being set up that just weren't. The
setting up of all the booby traps, because I had going into this,
that made me mad too.
I had no idea that they had freaking trenches with like ice and like bags of gasoline and all this other flammable shit.
Well, they did set up that the trenches in Greenhill Gap were going to help them kind of equalize the disadvantage they had in the numbers. And in this episode, it was revealed that they had far more set up in there for traps than what we had previously believed.
They had an overhead shot. I think it was maybe 1 episode before. They have an overhead shot of the whole area, and it was just like a long trench. And that was really all they showed us. And my head went, 300.
Now, all of a sudden, we're on frozen rivers. And
why don't you let me kind of break down
go ahead.
this battle, and then like we can just talk about everything.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Hanawa then leads the archers by shooting the next wave of Travantians, pulling some Legolas-level arrow shooting. The soldiers on the high ground throw spears at the next wave of enemy soldiers, making short work of them. But then Ito orders his crossbowmen to advance, and Master Blaster, direct from the Thunderdome, orders the crossbowmen in and uses his power of sight to help the archers start picking off the Payan soldiers, who neither Hanawa or Kofun tell to, duck. Once the crossbowmen have made it deep enough into the fort, Baba Voss springs a trap where he cuts a rope that sends a heavy bulldozer blade swinging down and smashing through the Travantian soldiers, killing all of them. Sensing the Pyans just blew their big surprise, Ito orders a full attack on the fort and commits all his troops to the battle. We now have full-on blind combat where Team Baba is kicking major ass and drawing the Travantians into a trench where Baba and Tamacti Jun are cutting open sacks filled with oil as they bait the Travantians after them. How can the soldiers not smell that oil?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we've established that they have like heightened senses, and oil just
Smells.
to normal people like smells pretty pungent. So
Yeah. I don't know. I did like the one thing that they did when they drew him in. Tamacti Jun like stuck his freaking hook sword into one guy and dragged him screaming to like draw the other guys in. Like, oh, where are they going?
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Tamacti Jun's a badass, man.
that the bulldozer blade scene, I was
that
like,
was pretty
"Ooh,
sick.
That was dope. And
that was awesome."
I work with heavy equipment. So like when I saw that, I was like, oh shit. And those things, out of anything we've seen in this show, those freaking bulldozer scoops, that would last 500 years.
Oh, yeah.
Those things are freaking heavy duty.
But it also made me wonder. So, like in the first episode, Godflame, where they like, built that rock wall and they had that one rope holding it all together.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder like if that thing was already like, you know, set up, or if they had to like yank that thing up in like 2 minutes,
Right.
or something.
I don't know. But I do know that the last 2 seasons have proven that the blind people really know how to make damn good ropes.
They do.
They do.
True. And that Baba Voss is an engineer.
Yes. But we didn't see him set it up.
How about
we did not.
How about Hanawa doing that 2-arrow kill
The
thing?
Legolas thing?
Legolas thing.
Yeah, that was,
She's Hawkeye now.
it was cool, but again, when did they learn this
So
stuff?
here's the biggest problem I have with all these blind people and their arrows, and none of them miss. They never miss. Not fucking once did they miss. The crossbow dudes with
Oh, the
Master
crossbow. Well,
Blaster.
they have Master Blaster. Quarter height left.
Look, no. Bullshit. Bullshit. Fucking Master Blaster stand up. Go to the left, 3 clicks north. You know, and then all of a sudden, all 3 of them hit their target, and they instantly die. You know, there's no shoulder shots. There's no glancing off the side of the head. There's no, everything's straight to the brain or straight to the heart, and it's just.
And
It's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Kofun and Hanawa are like not warning them at all.
Yeah, it's nonsense. It's an absolute nonsensical thing that they got these fucking, you know, crossbow dudes, and you got this stupid kid, you know, who I just can't even. I can't even get into it.
So the look on Baba Voss's face when he heard that kid's voice.
I should have killed him when I had the chance.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's like left, to right.
Your suspension of disbelief was
awful. It was one of the dumbest things I think I've ever seen in one of these. I hated it.
I can imagine this army practicing with the crossbows, and they had like targets set up, and the kid would be like, left, 1 click up or whatever, and they would
they did show them running drills.
They would know just instinctually.
They never missed people behind barriers and rocks and everything. It was crazy to me. It's just,
Vader, this is the goddamn Travantes
I don't
army.
fucking care.
They don't miss, and that's the point.
But it was unrealistic, and I know this is a fantasy show and everything, but you know, one of them can miss once in a while.
I mean, I'm willing to go along with this one just because.
I didn't buy into it. It bothered me a lot.
I'm surprised. It didn't bug me that much. I see where you're coming from. I do, because we've talked about this show before. There's some ridiculous thing that happens. But we're in because we're into the story, we're into the characters, and we just buy into it. We're always speculating. How do these people see? How can they tell this is that? Or how can they know this?
It's like I can only chalk so much up to Daredevil level superhero blind powers. Okay.
We're pretty damn close to that.
It just did not make sense how you have this kid telling these guys with 3 words to never miss a shot ever.
Okay.
So,
well, listen, that kid was bought and paid for because he could see, and he better be worth his money to the Travantes army, or they're gonna do something worse to him. I mean, they can't broodmare him because he's a dude. But I
Well,
guess they could.
Yeah,
They could.
Totally
They
could.
could stud him out.
They could stud him out.
Which,
They probably still will.
Probably will.
Yeah. When he gets too big to like sit on top of the shoulders of the soldiers.
That'd be a rough existence.
Oh,
so what
dude.
do you do? Oh, I'm the Travantian stud farm.
Yeah.
He's like, they just lined up.
He's all over there like, I love my country.
Great job.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, you're fighting for the wrong side.
Yeah. This is way better than being at war.
Yeah. All right. So we stopped at the oil. So continue. What happens after that?
So at the end of the trench is a small flame, but Baba accidentally snuffs it out. So while he's relighting the fire like a real man does, Tamacti Jun and the mountain men have to hold off the Travantians. Finally, Baba gets the flame lit and lights the burning oil, and all the Travantian soldiers who were advancing upon him are burnt to a crisp.
This little back and forth between Tamacti Jun and Baba Voss was freaking hilarious.
It was pretty good.
It was good. He's like, you're a mountain man. Can you light a fire? Yes, I'm a man. I can light a fire. Get out of here.
Every time Tamacti Jun and Baba Voss are together, it's
gold.
great. It's
gold.
golden.
Yeah, they're best friends now. So
Yeah, which is kind of funny because
it's not funny.
No, it's like a love. It's their frenemies, man.
Yeah, it's a
like
love-hate.
Yeah, it's a love-hate. Like, I know I need you right now, and you're a cool warrior, and I respect you,
We went from
but I also hate you.
you and I aren't done. I'm gonna fucking kill you when this is all over. To
He might still.
yeah.
Well, it's a lot like Legolas and Gimli. It's that relationship, you know. It's frenemies, 100%.
I never got frenemies from Legolas and Gimli.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Maybe at the very beginning.
Dwarves and elves hate
I
each
know
other.
dwarves and elves hate dwarves and elves hate each other.
Those are hell elves.
Hell elves.
Hell elves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are orcs, I think.
But it was kind of funny watching this scene because the fire's obviously fake. Like it's very
Yeah, it
bad.
was CGI fire.
Very bad CGI fire. But after talking with Christian Camargo about how their last bout with fire went, it makes sense.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
He was like, I almost died the last time they tried to light me on fire, so we're not
He
gonna.
was probably like, all right, listen,
We ain't doing this
I'm
again.
not dying for another season finale. And they were like, come on, Christian, take one for the team. And he was
It's
like,
like, no.
I want to be on board, but I'm going to need to be at least a few more feet away. They were like, fine, we'll CG it in.
All right, what happens
Thought you
next?
were a team player, but okay.
I know he doesn't want to suffer for the art. All right, so a pissed off Ito starts leading his troops in a new offensive with his crossbowmen, led by Master Blaster, and they start taking out all the mountain men at the tops of the trenches. Kofun decides to not be useless for once and tackles Master Blaster, so he can't direct the crossbowmen anymore.
Somebody really should have just smashed this kid's head against a rock and like taken the choice out.
Well, he basically broke his leg.
Yeah.
So Kofun
Not enough.
Kofun and Toad start killing Ito's crossbowmen, but Toad gets stabbed by a Travantian soldier, and everyone's favorite witchfinder dies doing what he loves, laying in Kofun's arms. R.I.P. Toadfun, you will be missed.
You are the wind beneath my wings.
I was very happy that he died in the arms of the man who loved him.
Oh my God, you guys. Jesus Christ.
I acknowledge that that's not who Toad loved, but Kofun loved him.
I mean, I was really upset about this because Toad was my boy. Like, he was one of my favorite new characters of this season. And I feel like they just kind of like set him up and then just killed him right off.
I wasn't happy about this either.
Well, I thought if somebody had to die in this episode, and if it was going to be anybody, I thought Toad was a reasonable
I
choice.
actually thought either Bowline should have been the one to die because what are they doing with her? Or at least like have Charlotte die defending Kofun, the girl from the compass, because that would have been like her charter. And we could have gotten a lot more with Toad and Paris, but I guess judging by the end of this episode, that wasn't going to go very far either.
Yeah.
And Queen Kane would have never been safe from Toad. So
Yeah, somebody's got to kill her.
You know what? But the Toad thing, he was in the show for about 10 minutes of screen time. I didn't care.
No?
I didn't care. And
how dare you?
I know, but that's just the whole thing of what I'm talking about.
You're so salty today. I'm sick of it.
Sorry, God. It's just another one of those things that I just hadn't gotten invested in him yet because they haven't had enough. He hasn't had enough screen time for me to care.
I felt like he's had plenty of screens at the time throughout the season.
He's had.
I mean, he was Kofun's mentor. Yeah. He was his protector. He was Paris's love interest. He was Tamacti Jun's right-hand guy.
He had a well-rounded life in one season.
Paris's they had 4 minutes at the most together on screen.
Listen,
Probably more like 2 minutes.
his other senses were heightened.
Yeah, it's just I'm
His
having a hard
heart
time.
sense grew 5 times bigger when he met Paris. When she touched
It's the
him.
same complaint I have with every relationship in this show. There's no build up. And I don't. Well, you can disagree all you want, but I'm right. And
that's a Kate-ish move.
I just don't care.
I'm so proud of him.
It's like, oh, Toad died. Big shocker.
Well, the thing was,
surprise.
Seeing that character die, it made me sad. And then his last words were "Tell Paris." And when Kofun's like, "Tell Paris what?" And he's like, "She knows."
Yeah.
And then he dies, and it's just like, oh man.
I was so sad. Obviously we watched it together, and when Toad got stabbed, I screamed out loud, "Oh no!"
I was right there with you. I was like, "No, not Toad! Take Kofun! Take Kofun!" He's right there. Take him.
The whole time he's legit dying. I was like, he's okay. He's okay. He's gonna be okay.
As long as we don't see him die, he's fine. He's fine.
He'll come back.
I think by killing characters like Kofun,
You mean Toad?
Toad, I feel like they're
Wishful thinking.
almost kind of taking the easy way out here.
I
It's
agree.
oh, we have to kill somebody,
Yeah.
so let's just kill Toad.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's kill Boots. Let's kill these two guys. Then Drill and Morel. They killed them because nobody cared about them.
Yeah, well, they had to get him out of the way.
All right. Toad, there's a little bit of emotional investment because he is a fan favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
But still, he hasn't been. This is his first season.
I think you're just mad because nobody killed Kofun. But
Kofun actually deserves to die.
If they had killed somebody more important like Tamacti Jun, we all would have been furious.
And that might have been what they should have fucking done. Because that would have been cool. That would have been their
ballsy.
That would have been their Ned Stark moment. That would have been their fucking Red Wedding. That show was popular because they had stones and balls
to kill off.
Fuck with your head.
Well, that
when
was
you were
George
watching.
R. Martin.
Yeah.
Let's not give the show too much credit.
But this show
I know what you're saying, though,
is
yeah.
in that same vein. And it's just, I'm having a hard time with some of the choices that they're making on this show.
So you want them to go darker.
Yeah.
Kill off more people.
I guess. No, not kill off more people. Kill off people that we're invested in, that we care about.
See, some people were invested in Toad, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was totally invested.
I don't
in
see
Toad.
how you were, but
I
okay.
was.
I'm not going to take that away from you.
All right.
Toad Foon.
Moving on.
Fucking dumb.
All right, so
I'm glad they killed him now. you stupid.
Don't yuck
fucking
my ship.
You stupid shippers everywhere. Oh, Toad Foon. Let's have a gay relationship because that's what everybody does these
Ah,
days.
damn, you are dark today.
Jesus.
Are you all right?
No, I'm good.
Are you serious?
I'm fine.
Take it down a notch, bro.
Seriously.
What happens next, Gators?
all right, so elsewhere the battle goes on, and Team Baba is being driven back by the Travantian army. Ito notices there are more soldiers on the Payan side than they previously thought, but him and Rin continue to lead their troops in advance. It looks like Team Baba has been backed into a corner where the cliffside ends in a cul-de-sac, but Baba has a trick up his sleeve. The mountain men all throw down ropes, and as Team Baba climbs out of the canyon, Baba Voss pulls down a big-ass rock that breaks through the ground, revealing to everyone that they were actually fighting on top of frozen water. Rin realizes too late that they've been baited into a trap and orders a retreat, but the Travanti army all starts to fall into the icy water, dragged down by the weight of their weapons and armor. It looks like Rin dies too, but don't worry, she's fine. However, Ito thinks she's perished, and her loss triggers him. When his army is entirely underwater, Ito fucks off somewhere, basically admitting defeat.
Strategically, this is the dumbest thing they could have done.
I thought it was really cool though.
Well, why would he have to do it? There's already people up on the cliff. We've established that. There's people who are throwing the ropes
Push the
down.
rock over.
Have somebody push the rock down. Why is he down there having it collapse down on top of him?
Muscles.
First of all, no one up there can see. Second of all,
Neither can Baba Voss.
well, Baba Voss was leading the battle, so he knew the time to do it. So the people up top probably wouldn't have known unless he gave them a signal, but then that would alert their strategy to other
But didn't
people.
Bo blow the horn to give the signal?
Yeah.
After Baba Voss told her to.
After he pulled the rock and he shouted, right? He was yelling something. I can't
Something.
remember.
He said now,
Yeah.
I think.
So I don't know. To me, like the first thing that came to my head, yes, it's cool. Yes, I like the whole,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was a good reveal.
it was a good reveal. That's cool. The way it went down, I was like, why wouldn't they just have like 4 people up there
Well,
pushing the rock down?
yeah.
Because I don't know. I just thought it was silly. If there's one guy, that freaking rock is big.
Well,
I know it's Baba Voss.
He's Baba Voss.
I get it, but still, it's like
he can pull a 3,000
have
ton boulder.
have a couple mountain people up there helping him out. You know what I mean?
He's one-shot Voss.
He is
We've
one-shot
known
Voss.
this from the first episode
Yeah.
of season 1. He's one-shot Voss.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny because he was taking his armor off, and we were like, "Why is he taking his armor
Yeah.
off?"
So he doesn't
That's
fall.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so he's not weighed down.
Mm-hmm. It was cool. I just thought the way it happened was a little goofy, but don't matter.
Jude was convinced Ren was going to die in that scene.
And she should have.
She probably should have. Because I don't know what
But
they're gonna. What are they
now-
gonna do with her?
Miracle happened. She like swam to the top with all of her armor still on. And, after she was being sunk down to the black depths of the 8-foot deep river. And it's just.
So this is basically the end of the 15-minute long blind battle Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah.
Vader, you said you had a lot of problems.
I just didn't
the
like
battle.
how there was no. I'm getting tired of saying the word setup, but there was no
Setup.
setup for
Do you need me to consult
any of these booby traps.
Yeah.
These
These are all surprises. Which I don't know if they were going
it's
for
like
we want to
this-
surprise the audience with these
like,
cool
we're
booby
going to go
traps.
to this old fort and we're going to have our last stand at this fort. But,
Yeah.
but really, secretly, we have this place set up because we knew this fight was coming 3 days ago. And
Didn't they rush there because they
Yeah.
were like, shit, we got to get there before they do? So they didn't,
right.
unless this
right.
stuff,
And then
this stuff was
now
already there.
Now all of a sudden, we have all these secret booby traps and things set up, and Baba Voss has this big plan to bring them up on the frozen river and
Yeah.
to pull the boulder that God knows how the boulder got up there to begin with, off into the ice pond, and then because nobody can tell that they're fighting on a big sheet of ice, apparently, in this river, and it's just none of it made sense. It made no sense to me, and I was just
Very disappointed.
when I said I woke up the next morning kind of annoyed.
We can tell.
This is the why.
We can tell.
It just felt all so contrived and easy. It's like, okay, put him in a bottleneck, start throwing rocks at him down there
and do like a 300 thing. That's what I thought they were going to do. Yeah.
That's fine, but the way this all ended up was just goofy. It's just.
So, Kadish, I got a question for you as far as writing goes. Like, is it better to keep the audience in suspense and having all these booby traps, or is it better to have everything laid out so that we kind of like know what's going to happen?
Well, there is a trope that can be used where you have like a short montage sequence of seeing them preparing for battle, like by setting up these booby traps, but we don't know what the booby traps are necessarily. But like a quick montage where it's like, oh, the Travantians aren't there right away when they get to the fort. They have like a couple hours or like something like that.
Yeah.
And while they're doing the montage, Baba Voss is like, oh, he hears them, and he's like, they're here. And then they go out and they have like that whole thing at the end of the penultimate episode. Yeah, so like there are ways where you can set things up that don't communicate exactly what the surprises are going to be.
Okay.
But you show the audience that they're preparing for it so that when they happen in the actual episode, it doesn't come out of left field. It doesn't seem like a Deus Ex Machina. I didn't feel that way. Again, like I had my brain turned off for most of this episode. So like I was just enjoying like the cool twists and turns, which I think is one of Jonathan Tropper's kind of like main things where or like he just does these cool, awesome like scenes and you're just like, wow, that was incredible. And like, you just don't think about the bigger picture.
See, that's the problem I had is I enjoyed this episode when I watched it for the most part. I had some questions. I didn't go to bed upset. I woke up angry. I dreamed about this stupid episode. I'm not even joking. I dreamed about this. And it's like my brain was like trying to tell me all the stuff that was wrong with it for some reason. And I woke up really annoyed. And that was when I went and I wrote down my 3,000 word essay on my
like,
notebook.
what the hell?
What's going on here? It was just.
I do appreciate the passion in your heart,
It's
but I
just-
need you to simmer the fuck down.
Well, I think season one prepared me for like anything that this season, like when we first started the season, I was expecting it to be much worse than it was.
But that's it. This whole season was really good for the most part. I mean, there was some issues that I had, but for the most part, they've been telling us a good story. And then to just kind of, I feel like they just had all these stupid ideas that they just barfed onto the screen for this last episode, and they could have done so many things so differently. I just. It didn't make any sense.
I do think that the 8-episode format for a
It's
season
terrible.
is bullshit.
Yeah, it's awful.
I miss the days where we got a longer season where we could get a really well-rounded story. But I feel like as a whole, this season, miles above last season. It's been awesome.
For sure.
I really enjoyed the last episode. If I sit and pick it apart, technically the battle scenes fall apart, but I'm not a fucking warrior. So I was like, fuck yeah, those tribes. I don't care why. So I dug it. I loved it. And like, I'm willing to just keep my disbelief right here and just continue to love it. Because like I teared up when the tribes showed up and I was like, they're all standing with Baba Voss. I know it doesn't make sense, but this is C.
Yeah. We left sense behind a long time ago.
I left that sense behind. That's my blindness, and my other senses are just way amped.
Here's the thing about the tribes, because I've been trying to battle with this too, because my first impression was like, who the hell are these people? Where are they coming from? But we've spent the entire season having Paris like go off into the woods somewhere and like talk to random people
in nature.
Yeah. Like, oh, I know you're here. Come on over, enjoy the fire and have some tea or whatever she says.
I'll have my presage call your presage.
Yeah, it was like, okay, so what we were all like, what is Paris doing? And then we kind of forgot. And then she shows up with Toad, and then there's more people who are like, oh, it's the compass.
When did she do this? When Baba Voss was
very early in the season, like episode 2 or something. She was out in the woods, and she was, remember the people in the feet walked in?
Yeah.
Well, that was the compass.
We assumed that
we assumed it was the compass.
So they just showed up right conveniently at the start of the battle?
Well,
because she went and got him a couple months
she
ago.
went and got him, and we were like, hey, there's going to be some shit going down.
I just want you guys to like hang out and don't say nothing on the side of the head.
Yeah. Like we're going to need each other here pretty soon. So,
and also like, I get that one of the reasons I would have appreciated seeing this, but I get that one of the reasons why the tribes were so willing to come and fight with Baba is because Travantes has been stealing their children and making slaves out of them. So, I mean, everybody wants to fight against Travantes.
Yeah, nobody likes slaves.
Nobody wants them to take over.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's just like, fuck Pittsburgh, man. let's fight against them.
Pittsburgh sucks.
Pittsburgh dogs suck.
Hey, man.
Sorry, Pittsburghians.
Pittsburghians?
What do they call them?
Travantians?
No. I mean, in real life, in our world, Pittsburghians.
Pittsburghites.
Pittsburghites? I don't know.
They call them Pennsylvanians.
Pittsburghans.
That's where I'm from. I'm making fun of my own people. All right. Go ahead, Kate.
Well, that explains a lot.
All right. The victory is short-lived for Baba Voss, though, when he hears a dog whistle and goes to meet Ito for a final face-off. Ito is on the bridge of Broken Dreams, blowing on Wrench's whistle, revealing that the old armorer was the scapegoat for Baba's escape from Travantes. Ito and Baba both disarm and then fight each other one last time, mano a mano, man to man. Baba eventually gets the best of Ito, but chooses to spare him. Ito then stabs Baba with a sword, forcing Baba to kill him instead. And as Ito lays dying, he asks Baba if their father really did order Baba to kill him. And when Baba says yes, Ito's final words are, "What a prick."
This fight scene was cool.
Yeah.
I dug it. I didn't really know how it was gonna go, and then when Ito freaking like lifts Baba up and like smashes his back on the side of the railing or whatever,
or when he claps his ears.
Oh yeah, that was that was pretty rough too. Like there was some down and dirty fighting going on.
It was interesting how like they set up that Baba Voss is like far more like sensitive than a regular Aira. Like he could hear better than like almost anyone on the planet.
Which we suspected, and then we got confirmation of that, so I appreciated that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Your dog whistles.
And also the armor that Baba met up with in episodes 1 and 2, he was the one who they blamed their escape on. So they kind of closed that thread, which is why Ren is still walking free and stuff like that. But this fight scene, I thought, like we all knew that Dave Bautista wasn't coming back for season 3, so it was obvious he was going to die this season.
Yeah.
But it was still kind of interesting because I think in one of my predictions that I said Baba wasn't going to kill Ito, he was going to defeat him and then like leave him, and Ito was going to try to kill Baba, and then someone like Kofun would hop in and kill him. But it ends up like Baba actually ends up having to kill him after getting stabbed. And when Baba was stabbed, Jude and I were like, oh my God. But we knew that he was going to be okay. And it was kind of like a sad thing because when Ito's lying there dying, Baba's like, you could have come with me. You could have like, you didn't have to go back. And he was like, the Travantians were going to kill me and I would have been hung in Pensa.
Yeah, he was like, there was no coming back for me from this war.
And he also thought that his surrogate daughter was dead at this point too. So like he literally had nothing left to lose. And all he had was his vengeance. And then at the end, when he realized that Baba was actually a brother who cared for him as opposed to one who betrayed him. It was just kind of sad because he was just like, oh, Dad was such a prick.
Yeah.
You know,
I thought it was a nice brotherly moment, a funny last word. Not funny, but like there was a little comedy there.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, God, what a prick. And then he just kind of, yeah. It was cool. I like this. The whole fight scene was really cool. It was really well done. And going back a little bit, in the main battle scene where they had like those long shots where they were like the camera never really cut, or if they did cut, they'd hide it behind like somebody walked. I thought the way they kind of filmed that, like real low angle
with the hidden cuts.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, there was also a great scene during the battle where Baba's like killing all these people, and he's like, Tamacti Jun, and Tamacti Jun's like, Baba Voss, and Baba's like, just checking to see if you're still alive.
Yeah,
I love that.
There were some cool moments. All right, what happens next?
Did Vader have anything to say about this?
The big final battle for the brothers?
It was pretty cool.
Okay.
It was a good fight scene. And I'm sad that they killed Ito off. But again, like my biggest complaint is I just wanted more. I wanted to know why Ito hated Baba as much as he did.
You set that up.
They've had a few scenes here and there, but it's the same complaint. I needed more.
Okay.
And I wanted to know why. I wanted flashbacks. I wanted to see young versions of these guys and their dipshit dad. I wanted to know,
like, manipulating them.
I wanted to see the manipulation of these two.
I wanted to see why Ito was like so invested in his father and how he got that weird scar.
Yeah, I wanted to know how Baba fucked his head up. I just needed more. There wasn't enough backstory for me to really buy into why they hated each other so much. And you know, it's just I'm gonna leave my salt on this one because it doesn't matter now because they killed him.
Like if they just had like one more episode, they could have addressed a lot of this stuff, I think.
Yeah. They could have had an entire episode. If they could stretch this thing to like 12 episodes, they could have had just one episode of the adventures of Baba and Ito. When they were 15 years old.
I don't want to start second guessing their plan for the season, but I just feel like if there was just one more episode where they could have like, I don't know, addressed some of these things that fans are wondering about, like it would have been nice.
You know, flashbacks are a real thing in television shows.
Well, they did a lot of flashbacks in Game of Thrones.
Well, yeah.
Well, they were like went back to like hundreds of years.
You know, there's
cool shit.
The streaming world. Let's give us a 12-minute short film.
They got freaking
some webisodes.
Yeah.
They got some. They have Apple money. Make as much as they want.
Yeah, it's just they could address a lot of stuff with short little webisodes. You know, it's just I had a hard time buying in.
You really don't like the 8-episode setup. Huh?
I fucking hate it. I really do. It feels like they rush everything, and that we don't get enough of anything.
How many episodes was season 8 of Game of Thrones? Like,
I think it was 8.
It was 8, and it sucked.
It was less than that.
It was 6.
6 episodes.
Yeah, well, they just they were.
But the episodes were like an hour and a half each.
Yeah, we're gonna get 6 movies.
No, the first episode was an hour and a half, and then they got shorter and shorter each episode.
Yeah, this thing that's happening with TV shows these days, where they're trying to cramp so much.
Well, the budgets are getting bigger, so the seasons are getting shorter.
Yeah.
Well, just to say something that Vader kind of touched on, like I feel like this final fight between Baba and Ito, there should have been more at stake for it. Because I think to have Ito or Baba kill Ito and finally break that line that he had avoided for so long, like it should have been something where like the winner of that fight wins the war. Like it should have been maybe like the big battle was fought to a stalemate and the Travantians were going to overtake him, and then Baba challenges Ito to single combat, and if he defeats the grand general of the Travantians, then like the Travanti army goes and fucks off or something like that. That would have been cool. There just wasn't enough at stake for this final fight. This
was a personal fight.
Yeah,
it had nothing.
I disagree.
Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do.
I'm with you,
really
Matthew.
With the war.
I'm with you.
You guys.
Yeah, I mean,
you stand with Kadish.
Like, don't get me wrong. The personal stakes were there, but I feel like there needed to be something bigger at stake for this battle to have a truly impactful ending to it. So
it was a little bit of a downer.
The two different fighting styles between Baba Voss and Ito, that was really cool to see, like on full scale. Because you see, like Baba Voss was like rolling and tumbling, and like he was doing like some jujitsu stuff, and Ito,
which was interesting because they're brothers, so you would think that they trained together and would have a similar style.
He does like a freaking tank, though. He's huge. Baba Voss is very I
actually think
fluid.
Baba Voss's time as a slaver probably taught him stuff that Ito as a soldier was not aware of, because a lot of Baba Voss's stuff is very low to the ground, whereas soldiers are very much like you got to stand your ground and like face your opponent head on type stuff.
No, I thought the fight itself was really good.
Yeah,
it was well choreographed. It was like watching a professional wrestling match, I guess. But it was solid, really good.
All right, so getting back to the episode. Hanawa meets with Master Blaster, whose wounds are being tended to by Charlotte. Hanawa informs Master Blaster that they have the same father, and Master Blaster asks why they're fighting for the bad guys. And Hanawa tells him that the sighted are always on the same side.
Which is stupid.
She then hands Master Blaster over to Charlotte and the compass. Speaking of which, where was the compass during this battle? Shouldn't
she
they
was
have
there.
all been there?
She was
there.
No, Charlotte was there, but I'm talking about the compass.
Oh, the whole organization?
I don't know.
Yeah, you'd think it would have been all hands on deck to protect.
Well, they couldn't come out and be like, we stand with Baba, because they don't. They stand with the sighted.
Yeah, but not, like we only saw Charlotte on the battlefield. There was no other compass members out.
Well, sight is heresy. You don't know what you saw.
You would think that Charlotte would have contacted the compass somehow and had like the entire group come out to protect the two royal blind kids or sighted kids in this episode. But that's just one of those things that the absence of them after having set them up in episode 3 was very kind of stand out to me, just like the absence of shadows this entire season.
Yeah.
Well, we forgot about shadows after season 1.
I didn't.
I mean, O-line was back.
Look, man, the shadows were a cool character
Yeah,
concept. I
I
really
enjoyed
think they
the
were
shadows.
cool. Yeah. It's like get all naked and cover yourself up in mud, run
You
around.
just liked it.
Who wouldn't want that life? Stand in a corner, shivering silently.
Yeah, it was wintertime. It's like freezing outside. They're not going to be rolling around in mud.
Is that the shadows' one weakness? Is cold.
Yeah. They only operate in the summer.
This whole scene it made me mad at Hanawa. It's like now I'm
Okay,
annoyed with
so
her.
her
Because
comment.
she just comes up.
Let me finish Hanawa's
okay.
part in this and we can talk about it.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so Hanawa then goes to the Travanti prisoners and finds Rin freezing her bits off. She unties Rin and leads her away. Hanawa tries to convince Rin to stay with her, but Rin decides to fuck back to Travanti's instead. When Rin leaves, Kofun confronts Hanawa about letting the enemy go. But instead of telling him that Rin was the one who helped her and their father escape from Travanti's, she just lets Kofun continue to be a whiny, moody little snot. Hanawa then tells Kofun that Rin is her people, and Kofun asks, "What am I?" And although Hanawa doesn't answer him, the audience says, "You're that dude who got bitch slapped by his daddy and totally banged his aunt. That's who you are."
Yeah, so they've ruined Kofun's character as far as any kind of sympathy, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because now he's
All right,
mad at like
he's-
everybody.
Well, he's going to go and do something
Oh, yeah.
stupid,
Oh, yeah, for
like
sure.
release the queen.
Yeah, and and again, totally expected, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they should do something different. Hannah was just dumb. She just goes in there and she lets basically the new general of the Tamacti whatever Travanti's army now just walk off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And she lets the sighted kid
Go with the
free
compass.
and go with the compass.
Well, it is her half brother.
Well, I don't care. He's still the enemy, right?
He's 8.
So what?
He's only half a man without his blaster to ride it.
That's true. But so I understand Kofun's annoyance with this, but is it weird that Kofun is the only one that has a problem with this? Nobody else
Nobody else saw her let
Yeah,
her go.
nobody else could see it.
but nobody else knew that they had captured this person.
Probably not. I don't know.
I mean,
But here's the thing that irritated me.
It's insane. Somebody tied her up and put her in the pile
Yeah, but
with all the other
they didn't know who
prisoners.
she was.
What are they doing with all the other prisoners?
Oh, she had the captain's sash on still, right? Unless she dropped it somewhere. I didn't notice. But my issue with this is when Hannah was like, we're all on the same side.
Yeah.
All us sighted people are on the same side. What about freaking Jerome Morel's kids who tried to
Right.
freaking sell you into slavery? Are
Yeah.
you on their side too?
Yeah, that's ludicrous.
That makes no sense.
What about the millions of sighted people that started this war and fought against each other? Like, that's a silly thing that she just said.
Yeah, it was very silly. I
it
didn't
was.
understand where she was coming from. I
Yeah.
think she was.
Well, Paris's whole thing was that the war is coming down to the sighted versus the unsighted. And so I think Hannah's comment there was more about, okay, because we're in the minority and we're at a disadvantage, we all need to stick together as opposed to fighting against one another.
And she's always thought that being sighted was
special.
superior. Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's.
And Kofun's taken the exact opposite track where he's like, we're not special because in his
Because he's not.
exactly in his experience, he keeps getting owned by blind people. So he's
Yeah.
just like, hey, we're not special. This doesn't make us better than everyone else. And Hannah was always been kind of like, yeah, it does.
Yeah. She's always thought that, even
Yeah.
from season 1.
The thing with Kofun though is I'm so turned off and put off by his character that I don't feel like he has
a leg to stand on.
The leg, or he has no right. His character has no right to challenge or criticize anybody on this show. He's
banging his aunt.
His sole purpose is to be the dipshit and set up all the bad stuff that happens in this show now. Everything goes back to him at this point, and it's just ridiculous. And to him to have cool moments where he's jumping off the rocks and getting the first kill and being all badass and stuff with no setup for it, it pisses me off.
There was setup for that. I mean, we did see him training.
We saw Toad kick his ass for about 4 seconds. We didn't see him doing anything.
You had a training montage with him.
He had a punching bag that he was fighting, next to his aunt's jail cell.
This whole season takes place over months. So we only saw those moments with him, but you have to assume that he was doing it for a long time.
I mean, what would have been interesting is if the Compass had found him and like the entire season was just him at the Compass camp training with them. Like that, and Paris could have been there with him or something like that. I feel like the whole journey to Pensa and then him being seduced by the queen and all that stuff, I feel like that was done to the detriment of his character.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but it was the only way that we could realistically keep Queen Kane alive. Because if it wasn't for that whole situation with Kofun, she'd be dead.
I mean, like the writers could have figured out other ways to protect the queen, but I mean, the long and short of it is that Kofun is the big problem in this episode, in this series, in the sense that like nobody likes his character, and we should be rooting for him, but we just don't because they've mishandled his character so badly.
He definitely is the antagonist to the season.
I wouldn't call him an antagonist. I'd just say like he's the weakest character of the bunch.
Well, he's like,
and he's someone we're supposed to care about.
I'd much rather hang out with Henua.
Yeah,
for sure.
Anyway, all right. So what happens?
I feel like
next?
if I hung out with Kofun, I'd end up getting killed somehow.
It'd be the next Toad.
But even
Henua, or you get banged, you get pregnant.
I don't even feel like
I don't need no more babies.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'd hit it though.
Even Henua, I don't feel like her letting Ren go was because can see. I feel like she just let him go because
she loves
her.
Because she gets her hormones all raging.
Yeah.
So it's just
that makes more sense to me. It wasn't because she was sighted; it was because they had a relationship.
And that's why it was so silly what she said. She could have said, "I love her."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the girl that saved my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, in the fort, Paris is mourning over Toad's body, and Kofun takes Toad's horse. Henua meets up with a beaten to shit Baba Voss, and Team Baba heads back to Pensa, where they triumphantly reunite with Magra. That night, Baba Voss, who just got stabbed in the gut, mind you, does some sexy stabbing with Magra for some much-needed victory nookie. Afterwards, Baba says he realizes their children are all grown and that they don't need him anymore. So that happened.
Yeah, that happened. Jason Momoa's ass was in the shot for a couple minutes.
How'd that make you feel, dude?
Grateful.
it was a side profile, right?
Yeah, side profile.
I'm angry at that scene. I am so angry. It makes me mad. It's like we only got a side profile. We didn't get to actually see his butt. It was just a side
Didn't
profile.
get full butt.
We didn't get full butt. It makes me upset.
Listen, we got no butt season 1. We get side butt season 2.
Season 3 is going to be the full
just
butt.
wait for it.
Season 3 is full Monty. Right?
Yeah. All right, what happens next?
I think that's the most nudity we've ever seen in an Apple TV show.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to get nudity.
They really don't go full HBO, do they?
No, they don't. I'm kind of glad about that, though. HBO goes a little bit too much. They're like, really?
Yeah, HBO's full softcore porn.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue on.
All right, so the next day, Queen Magra promotes Tamacti Jun to the High General of the Payan Army and changes the Witchfinder Army's charter to be that of the Royal Guard. Tamacti Jun realizes that not all his former Witchfinders are going to be happy serving a regime that's cool with sight, so he releases them from their blood oath, and about half their members tell Tamacti to go fuck himself and then leave, led by Commander Ferric, who really should have been played by Christian Slutton.
He had a white beard too, didn't he?
He looked just like him.
God damn it, man.
Yeah. Again, I don't feel like they set this up really well.
Yeah, we had no idea who that guy is. Ferric?
No,
Yeah, he didn't show up until this episode.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen him.
the whole half my army's gonna walk away from me thing.
Oh, I got that.
I mean, it was just,
I mean, they set that up since Toad's guys kind of
they
betrayed
did,
him.
but this just kind of really seemed out of the blue
it didn't.
and random to me.
I got it.
Totally disagree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I took it for 100%. I'm like, oh yeah, there's gonna be some people who are like, no.
Yeah.
I just dedicated my life to killing people who can see.
Yeah.
And now you're like
Thanks
switching.
I get what
Thanks
you're
for
saying.
fighting that war with me.
Yeah.
You want to go? You can go.
I did like that he actually did that though, where he was like, all right, I know you guys are not going to be in on this. So if you want to walk away, I'm not going to compel you to stay. Go ahead.
Which probably sets up, the big bads for
Well,
next season.
it
or
also
something.
sets up loyalist Queen Kane
Yes.
for season 3.
But-
No, because she's all about sighted people now.
Yeah, she is a sighted
Yeah.
baby now.
Oh no, she can manipulate the schism there. I guarantee that. Like she'll be like, "Oh, my baby's gonna be blind, and the God flame will bless him."
Prophecy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I don't know how many allies she's going to have, but
Well, they got to be setting something up with that.
Maybe.
So Tamacti tells Magra that they lost 22 witchfinders and that they will eventually be a problem. Tamacti Jun reveals that he wants to retire, but Magra begs him to stay on, and Tamacti Jun says he'll consider it and then fucks off.
this made me sad. But also this, and the last like 10 minutes of this episode was just watching all the characters just go.
Well, at least she didn't tell him he could kill himself. She's like, just
Well,
think about
when,
it. Stay on.
Well, she was like, "You look so tired." And
Yeah,
he was
I
like, yeah,
Try serving
Yeah,
your sister
see?
for 20 years.
That was a good line.
That was
I
a good
like
line.
that,
that was a great line.
Yeah, I like that. I like the scene. It was cool. I like having Tamacti Jun like try and decide whether or not he wants to hang out with Magra or if he wants to go do his own thing.
Well, we know from our interview with Christian Camargo that he's going to be in season 3 and
Yeah.
he's going to have like a 2-minute long fight scene eventually. So chances are he doesn't retire, or if he does retire, he's pulled back. They pull him back in.
I really hope that it doesn't come to a head between him and Baba Voss, because I know Baba the whole season has been saying like, once this is over, me and you, we're gonna have a reckoning.
Well-
but I'm fucking over it. They have such good buddy cop energy.
But they have to have their reckoning at some point.
They can have a fight where they don't
that-
kill each other.
Season 8, that's when it
or
happens.
that part of the that we didn't get that this season is one of the things that kind of annoys me, because they did set that up, but then we didn't get the payoff for it.
We'll get it next season.
I
I don't
hope
want
so.
it anymore.
Yeah, well, I feel like the whole confrontation between Baba and Ito was the focus this season, and
Yeah.
having
Yes.
Tamacti Jun in there would have
There's
Yeah.
got to be a new big bad
derailed
next
it.
season.
Yeah. So finally, we're back at the House of Enlightenment, and we learn that Olaman and Tormata haven't been working on curing blindness, but making explosives, adding a powerful new weapon to the Travanti arsenal.
Damn it. This is
Isn't
so
that dumb?
stupid.
It is dumb, isn't it?
This is like, I was in. Even when you were complaining about the battle, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm in. It was cool. It was fun. I liked it. Some of the stuff didn't make sense. Whatever.
It's
It
like,
was
oh, we
like-
found a box of
the
dynamite.
end of this where we get to see the Stargate guy come back and we're like, oh shit, he's gonna cure blindness. He's the greatest scientist Travantis have. I made dynamite. Like, what? Dynamite? You read a book somewhere on how to make gunpowder and now you think you're freaking God? Like,
Yeah.
that's like ancient Chinese technology, bro. You're not breaking any ground over here. They blew up freaking hay huts.
Yeah.
It was so dumb.
Well,
I'm like, come on, man, give me some badass shit. You have guns.
well, the fact
Build
that
a
they know
torpedo. That'll impress me.
the fact that they know how to make bullets now could be like a big game changer. Like, you know, I knew that one of the big kind of cliffhangers of this episode was going to be we're flashback to the House of Enlightenment, and
Yeah.
we're going to figure out like, you know, what's been going on there. And I was kind of underwhelmed by this. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
really thought
Yeah, me
that there was going to be like a much bigger revelation, and the fact that it's just like, oh, they figure out how to make gunpowder. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I mean, like that's a game changer for the Travantian army for sure. But I wanted something more impactful, and it felt like it was almost like a throwaway. Which was a little bit of a disappointment to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I was really expecting, my expectations were up here. I was like we talked about the other day, we speculated, oh, what if he cures blindness? Or what? Yeah.
I never expected him to cure blindness.
Yeah, that was a bit of a reach, but I was hoping that's
yeah.
where they were going.
Something in that direction where they were going to like change the game.
I was going to let you guys just have your little.
I was so
going to cure blindness.
I was
in
so
Stone Age.
frustrated, man. I was like, freaking gunpowder, really, bro? Like, that's the best you came up with?
We haven't cured blindness.
You have an entire library.
It's 2021 and we haven't cured blindness, bro. Come on.
No, but
Think
this
a bunch
is
of cave people.
this is
and
due to a
fucking-
virus.
A bunch of Geordie LaForge
Get outta here.
visors for him, you know.
Get out of
this is not blindness because of some accident or some genetic
Yeah.
fault. This is a virus that affects your sight.
Maybe they'll find a bottle of ivermectin and take it. And it'll
some good old horse dewormer.
Yeah. They'll listen to an old Joe Rogan podcast. Whoa, what is this?
She was here all along. Get me some of that hydroxychloroquine. I can see.
Who's this fucking Trump guy? He sounds like an idiot. It's really good. We're going to do it all.
We're going to have the best blind army crossbowmen. You're going to get so tired of winning.
Chet. Yeah.
Trump.
Oh, that went off the rails.
Yeah, but you know the thing about this being like a disease, it's like people, their eyes might be capable of seeing, but because they're host to the virus prevents them from doing that.
Yeah.
So if they could cure the virus, all of a sudden, boom, they can see. And it's like, oh, that's a game changer.
Maybe like something simple like penicillin would work or something.
Who knows? I just, the gunpowder thing, the explosive thing, it was really just underwhelming to me. I don't know what else there would have been. I mean, they have an entire library of human history at the House of Enlightenment. They have weapons, they have guns, they have machine guns. Like, I felt like gunpowder is already like a given. Like, they don't know how to make gunpowder. Is this new? Really? This is new technology? It's like 3 things. I mean, Cervantes run by freaking underground mines where they harvest coal to burn in the boilers and stuff. Like, they don't have explosives to mine.
I also feel like Olamon could have just grabbed like a gun and just shot all the Cervantian soldiers there and like taken back his home.
Yeah.
And now that Ito Voss is dead, like who's gonna, like nobody knows about it except David Hewlett.
Yeah, because they kept that whole thing a secret, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really, really, I didn't like that.
We'll see what they do with it next season.
Yeah.
So back in
See, people are gonna not want to watch it.
I know. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Those salty nerds. We love you guys.
We do, for sure. Do. Yeah. I don't want to come off like a dick, but I just...
Too late.
Too late.
You can edit all my stuff out.
So back in Pensa, Baba Voss says goodbye to his family while they sleep, then fucks off into the wilderness, leaving the most important things in the world to him behind in their kingdom. I really had a problem with this.
Really?
Me too.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So what is he doing? Why is he
He's
fucking off
leaving.
into the wilderness? Why?
His kids are... His children are not children
and
anymore.
His wife...
He didn't belong there.
He just had a fight for his people.
The fight's done.
And
he lost.
And he's leaving.
He lost.
And his wife,
he won her kingdom. He doesn't belong here. He belongs with his tribes. And they need a leader too, because they all came to stand with him.
No, the tribes, he wasn't going to the tribes. He was just going off to be alone. The thing about Baba Voss is from season 1 onwards, his whole focus has been on protecting and preserving his family. That was the most important thing in the world to him. And so after finally protecting his family from the Travantians, who, you know, in a weird way were also his family, he chooses to walk away by himself into the woods, leaving them, even though there's still a war going on, even though the kingdom and the politics surrounding them put them all in jeopardy, he chooses to leave.
He should have killed Sibeth on his way out.
I feel like this is a total bitch move.
What?
I absolutely do. No. I feel like he's running away from his problem.
Yeah, like out of all the sacrifices that he's made, like even though he doesn't belong in Pensa, like he probably should have stayed for the sake of his family.
It's like, do you think Magra isn't? She's gonna have nothing but problems with.
She's gonna hook up with Lord Harlan, and it's just
you know there's just so much stuff going on that he needs to be there for, and he's just like, nope, I don't belong here. I'm gonna go be a mountain man. It's like, well, you know what? I don't belong in Las Vegas. But I'm sticking around.
I felt that energy.
Well, you know, it's just...
I was like, he's going to go off in the mountains and be alone and forget all this nonsense?
He's going to go be a fucking homeless guy out in the mountains.
I get
Maybe he could join you at your snow camp.
I just feel... I feel like it was a betrayal of the character that he's built over these 2 seasons, where like he would never just abandon his family, even if he thinks that they don't need him anymore. He'd still be there. He'd be like in the woods outside of Pensa in like a little mud hut, like just kind of keeping an eye or
maybe that's what he's going to do.
No, like he was literally like walking off like into the wilderness, like far away from anything Pensa related. Like
maybe he was just going to get some turkey.
Just going on a walkabout.
Gobble gobble.
Man, again, I'm totally with you on this one. That I was upset about.
Oh, that didn't bother me at all. I thought it was cool in this ending where like all the main characters that we've seen through the last 2 seasons kind of like got dispersed.
I just don't feel like it was in line with his character.
Yeah,
like everything he's always done has been in service of his family.
He spent half of the season trying to get back to Magra. And then once he was there, he was just like, I don't belong here. And he kept trying to get her to like abandon her post. And when she wouldn't, he left her. I hate this.
Like they even had a scene where Harlan went to him and was like, hey, we need you.
Yeah.
And he was just like, this isn't my war. And then he fucks off. It's just like, come on, dude.
No, I felt it. I was
well, that's because he did exactly what you would have done in that situation. Everyone else is not you.
I don't think Matt or Alex would do that. You wouldn't abandon your family because they're
grown adults though. For him, they don't.
Okay, so when your kids are 18 and your wife is...
They're moving out.
It's like you're just going to fucking bone out? Dude, I don't think you will.
Kofun still needs a lot of training. Papa Voss should have stuck around until Kofun could handle himself.
And Kofun's definitely going to release the queen and do something fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was just such a weird ending to me. I didn't understand it. I don't know what they're doing with it. I don't know where they're going.
I think it left
it's completely against what I feel like his character would do. And I don't get it. I don't understand. I know.
He's done. He fought his war. He lost his brother. He killed his own brother. His kids are all grown up. They don't listen to him when he tells them to do something anyway.
If he needs to go like on vacation and go out and be with the freaking wood people for a week or two, okay, fine. But he better come back.
Oh, he's coming back.
Oh, or is he?
Yeah.
Or are they gonna have to go find him and bring him back?
He didn't leave a rope.
Yeah, he didn't even tell him. He fucking snuck out in the middle of the night.
I know.
Like a bitch.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're 100% wrong. I don't get that from you at all.
All right. Okay. So everyone's wrong. Let's just move on. So in the final scene of the season, Sibith is having pregnancy pains and calls upon Paris, the midwife, to attend her. Paris examines her and finds nothing wrong. Sibith then tests Paris by asking her if she thinks the baby should be taken from its mother and whether or not Kofun would be a good father. And when Paris remains loyal to her Alkeny tribe, Sibith fucking kills her. The end.
As soon as Paris walked in the room, I was like, she's going to fucking kill her.
Yeah, I was like, she's dead.
She's dead.
Yeah.
I felt the exact same way.
But she's with Toad.
She's a freaking presage. Did she not see this coming?
We've all established that Paris is a terrible presage.
Like she gets things wrong quite a bit.
A lot. Yeah.
I feel like maybe Alfred Woodard came up and said, "Yeah, I'm done with this show."
Yeah. I was thinking like she's probably like too expensive, and they couldn't figure out what to do with her character, so they just wrote her off.
Yeah, if Baba Voss bails, like she was like attached to the hip with him.
And you know what's funny is earlier in this episode, I was thinking they need to kill somebody significant, and they do.
There you go.
But I don't feel like she's that significant.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, Paris was never like a real fan character.
She's the MacGuffin character. Oh, Paris can do anything.
Yeah, she was kind of like the Obi-Wan character.
Kind of.
Just kind of like the mentor.
Sexier.
Yeah. But it's funny because like as soon as she started examining the queen, Jude and I were like, I really hope someone like searched the queen and disarmed her from like her arm shiv.
No,
and it was like nope,
nobody knows about it. It's her secret. She keeps murdering people.
Bodies keep dropping around her, and they're like, we don't know how she keeps doing that.
I know, right?
Nobody asks how Boots or her handmaiden died.
Yeah,
they don't even care. They didn't even mention it.
I mean, nobody has ever questioned the queen before, and now that she's a prisoner, they're like, more.
I don't understand.
How does she keep getting away with this? It's so silly.
But it was interesting because you could see how like Sibith was kind of prodding Paris because she knew that she was going to be the one attending her exclusively for the pregnancy. And when she found out that Paris just couldn't be manipulated, she had to get rid of her. And so like you see kind of Sibith's brain working. And
yeah, from her perspective, I could see why she would want to do that. She's never been friends with Paris to begin with, but it was just kind of like, God damn, Paris, you didn't see that coming?
Terrible presage.
Yeah, you know, the minute she touched Sibith, she should have been like, I feel what you're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. I feel your intentions. Like she touched.
I feel you're about to murder.
She touched Toad and she's like, you're telling the truth or whatever. Like she has that ability. It's been established.
And her fingers were up in the queen.
I think they should have just called her a presage-ish instead of a presage.
Yeah.
She could have died.
A semi-sage.
Yeah. She's not good at it.
Oh, I just remembered this because we're talking about Paris. Right when the mountain people came to the rescue at the battle, and if it was Baba Voss or somebody said, Kofun, take care of Paris, make sure she's safe. And he just doesn't do anything.
I know.
He just is like, okay, see you later. And he walks the opposite direction.
Okay.
Cold food is freaking useless, man. Oh shit! I just remembered that because we're talking about Paris. That was hilarious. I laughed out loud at that part. I was like, this guy just doesn't got no shit's given.
Yeah, but now that Toad's out of the picture, it's kind of like, what do you do with Paris?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you gotta if you're gonna trim off the
Paris should have stuck around and been Magra's,
I think she should have went with Bob
advisor.
Voss. Bailed out to the
Or
mountains somewhere.
that too. I could have seen her doing that.
But then
I really do think it was probably a situation where Alfre Woodard is just like, she's a major actress, and so like it was probably just too expensive to keep her on. So they were just like, yeah, let's get rid of her.
okay,
She went the way of Boots.
yeah.
Except we cared and liked about Paris a little bit.
A lot more than Boots. Are you kidding me? Boots is like
we cheered when he died.
yeah, we were like, yeah.
We all breathed a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
This one.
I mean, it was a good way to end the episode because it was kind of like an oh shit moment. But at the same time, like I never looked at Paris as like a really major character in the show. She was always just kind of like on the periphery, like doing stuff, saying like, "Oh, the children need to learn to read," and kind of messing up Margaret's
saying
plan.
dumb things like love is stronger than
She's
swords.
She moved the story along when it was necessary.
Yeah, she was
for
the
her
exposition dumper. Is what Paris was. So.
Yeah, I feel like Charlotte's probably going to replace her.
Yeah.
Now, so like she's going to be the
I
one.
like
around.
Charlotte.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Kofun. From last episode.
Yeah.
So that was the season finale. What do you guys think is going to happen in season 3?
I have no idea.
This is what I like about this is because all the characters have dispersed. Tamacti Jun went his way. Baba Voss went his way. Margaret and Lord Harlan are trying to hold the fort down. The kids are probably going to go off and do their own thing.
There's still a war going on.
There's still a war going on. They got gunpowder now all of a sudden. So I feel like it's really open-ended, which is what I'm looking forward to that next season. I'm like, I have no idea what's going to happen because all the major pieces are in different parts of the board. And I think it's going to be really cool to see how they get them all back together.
Well, I think season 3, we're going to see a lot more of the Ganites. I think that the victory that the Pyans had are going to kind of piss the Travantians off, but also put them on the defensive. So now they're going to be fighting a 2-front war. I think that there's going to be a time gap between the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 8-9 months. So like
right when Queen Kane's given birth.
Exactly.
Yep.
So like, a lot of stuff could have happened in the meantime. But I do think that there's probably going to be a significant time jump between the 2 seasons. I really don't know what they're doing with Baba Voss here. I mean, like him fucking back off into the wilderness. I think a lot of it's going to be like people trying to find him in order to bring him back into the main story. And it's just going to kind of waste a couple episodes.
Yeah, here's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see a whole side story where Baba is just in the woods by himself. That's fucking lame. And I want him with his queen. I want him fighting. I want him being in the show and not just like being off to the side.
Well, he's like the main character.
Right. I need him.
Yeah.
So I don't want him to just be off doing something.
The only thing I'm worried about with that is I know it's been mentioned that Jason Momoa has already done filming his part of season 3,
which makes me nervous.
Which makes me nervous as well. Like
they've filmed all of season 3, so everyone's done filming their parts.
Everybody's done.
His was done.
His was done earlier.
Ago, yeah,
which I makes me feel like his is a lot less of a storyline.
Yeah,
because he's doing Aquaman and a whole bunch of other shit.
He's just busy.
He's really busy. Yeah, he's a major actor, so he's doing a bunch of other projects, which makes me nervous that he's not going to be really huge in season 3. But
well, I think we're going to see more of Ren and Hanawa. Because Ren's probably going to go back to Dravantes, and so Hannah was going to be interacting with her. I think Kofun is going to side with the queen, and you're going to see the schism in the royal family. Magra is going to have to deal with, some bad acting former witchfinders, whatever. Tamacti Jun's coming back into the fold to help her out. I really want to see more of Harlan in season 3 because I love Harlan.
Yeah, we all like Harlan.
And I'm wondering like what new characters they're going to introduce on the Ganite side, and JCVD leading the Canadians down. They're like the White Walkers. They're the big threat, the looming threat.
Yeah, they come down from the south or from the north and take over.
The polar vortex is coming.
Should we have a cheers to the Voss brothers? Do the fashion report
for our bottle of Voss.
Yes, bottle of Voss.
Cheers,
to the
everybody.
Voss brothers.
Well, hold on, let me get my
tack.
Okay.
Tack.
This is the first time Katie says actually.
We're toasting with water.
Yeah,
I know.
It's a bottle.
Refreshing Voss water.
500-year-old, perfectly aged
in a plastic bottle.
So it's come from like vintage. So it's come from a glacier and
I have no idea.
It's Nordic.
Trantier.
Oh, Nordic?
Yeah.
Oh, we love Norsemen. All right.
We got Jude's fashion report.
Yep, take it away, Jude. Go ahead.
All right. The hidden tribes are not so hidden anymore. Stoling into the Greenhill Gap, our favorite shadow returns in a very Robin Hood hoodie to steal into this war and stand with Baba Voss. Alongside her, the Valiers stand in fringe layers with Baba Voss. The Salvins stand in spiked fur headdress with Baba Voss. The Yellis stand in camouflage with Baba Voss. And the Rain stand in leather and tree bark with Baba Voss. Back at Pensa, the Kane sisters sit around in blue and orange waiting to die dresses. And when Voss brother fought against Voss brother, Ito hails Baba via dog whistle to join him in battle. Ito stands ready in red diamond pattern, no nonsense, I'ma kill my brother, gambeson. The traditional uniform of Travante's soldiers. But Baba is poised with I'ma let my brother kill me energy, wearing a simple hakama. He stands battle-worn but ready for his final showdown with the brother he never wanted to be at war with. And this has been the final Season 2 Sea Fashion Report, reminding you, you're still a vision, even if they can't see you. Until next, Chet.
Nothing about peacock feathers and horse manure in that one. Not even a little goodbye.
That's Vader's thing.
Ah, okay. So even though this is our final kind of recap of Sea Season 2, we've still got a lot of Sea content in the works. So somehow, and I don't know how, the cast and crew of the show have found our podcast and have been enjoying it. And we've got a lot of them lined up to come on the show and talk about it. So just recently we had Tamacti Jun, Christian Camargo come on for an interview. Next week, we're going to be releasing an interview with Sea's costume designer, Natalie Bronfman. And then the big thing is that we're scheduled to do an interview with showrunner Jonathan Tropper about Season 2, Season 3, his involvement in Season 1. We get to ask him all the questions that we want to know the answers to, and we'll see if he actually has answers to them.
Yeah, so send us your questions.
Until he sees this episode and he's like, nah.
I'm out.
Yeah, he's like, that Vader guy's not going to be on the interview.
What a dick.
But we've got a lot of actors and crew people and stuff lined up for future episodes. So we're probably going to continue to cover Sea, talk about Season 3, talk to the cast and crew, kind of pick their brains about like, you know, what the show's done, where it's going and stuff like that. We'd love to have Archie Madekwe come on and talk about Kofu.
Did you learn how to say his last name?
No, I just made that up.
Okay.
I hope it's correct. But
Phonetically, that sounds like how it's spelled.
Sounds pretty close.
Yeah, but Archie, if I got your name wrong, I'm sorry. But you know, we're also trying to get Sylvia Hoeks to come on, and pretty much we want everyone on the cast to come on eventually and tell us about their characters and tell us about this world that we're so in love with. And you know, even though we give the show a hard time occasionally, like we're still enjoying the show. We're loving watching it.
We get so mad at it because we love it so much.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That's it for our season finale. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And like Kadish said, we have a lot more Sea content coming. So if you love the show as much as we do, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff with it. So subscribe, hit the little bell notification so that you can get notified when we drop videos. And join our Discord app. We have a chat room just for Sea where we talk about the show and all this kind of cool stuff. So go to saltynerddiscord.com if you want to jump in there as well.
We have some really good conversations in that.
Yeah, our Discord is growing and it's a really cool community. So we're going to sign off now. MattVader, where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me at MattVader74 on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, places.
Cool. Yep. And Jude and the pod dog.
This is who's been making all that noise this whole episode. Kurt Russell Terrier. You can find me at I am Jude Juju on Instagram, on Twitter, and on TikTok. Look in the camera.
Matthew Kadish.
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter, and kadishbooks.com takes you to our Amazon page. And now that Sea is done, we're also going to be reviewing the next big Apple TV show called Invasion. So
unless it sucks, then I'm probably out.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that because that's going to be taking up our Wednesday slot that was usually devoted to Sea and all that good stuff.
All right. And I am your host, Alex the Salty Nerd. You can catch me on our Discord app, saltynerddiscord.com. And as always, stay salty, my friends.